All right, I'm live. I'm live. I think all the setups are good here. A little late today because I was taking care of some tax stuff. I have to say, taking care of tax as a unemployed individual is more complicated than when I was employed. Very complex. We're just all trying to survive here. I guess Covino just kind of dropped by for a little bit, huh? Hey, Buggy. Hello, Ajit and JJ. Hi. Covino says, tell me about it exactly. All these things, all these extra ways that I've been telling myself to survive another year as a content creator full time is nothing but a trouble when I'm trying to get this tech sorted. But alas, I still need to, speaking of money, I got a lot of things going on. I'm actually going to Coachella this year for the first time. My first music festival, I guess, in some sense. I don't usually go to things like this, so it's going to be new. So I've been kind of putting off purchasing other flight tickets, namely Godot flight tickets. By the way, Covino, I got an Airbnb with hot tub, like the outdoor hot tub in the yard. So it's a possibility. I don't know how big it actually is, so so we'll see. But anyways, I need to make sure I get some rental cars or whatever to get to the place, or I guess Lyft or Uber would be fine. I'm not sure how much I trust that. Probably better, anyways. Covina says, "DM me the location." Yeah, I got an Airbnb, so I'll send you the location. Covino can be lifeguard for your hot tub. Yeah, I don't know. It looked like a homemade hot tub, so it's like, I'm like, it's kind of like, I might as well get more content creator there, but I don't know any other Godot content creator that's willing to do this with us, you know? Save me, I don't know how to swim. But it's not big. I still am racking my brain to be like, how are we going to make it so that it's dev stream? Hey, Gilhermy says, say hello to Brazil. Hello, Brazil. All right. I guess I could do that right now. I messaged the owner being like, hey, I saw that you have hot tub. I wanted to do the little content making there. Is that chill? No answer. So I did my part. I did my part. Hopefully they don't think that it's something sketchy that we're trying to do. But I'll send you the location information here. Trips. Rental. Aha. Seems like it's pretty close. I mean, it's a small unit. I don't know how to... What is the address? I guess the address doesn't show up until it's time. Oh, no, there it is. All right, Covino, I'll DM you. We don't want to get, what do you call? Doxed, so. Here we are. I sent that to Covino. Enough of that. We should get streaming. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, content creation is understood as something very different to game dev in the Airbnb world. Exactly. I made sure I was like, hey, I'm here for the game dev content for that event that's happening. I'm excited. So it's nothing sketchy. We're doing some little fun thing and we were going to use it. I think I don't know. It said it's usable as a public space, but we'll see. Buggy is saying hi. Covina's like, long time no see indeed. But I have been streaming pretty regularly nowadays, so I feel pretty proud of that. I'm trying my best. And the game is coming along nicely. We have a little writer's room here. Officially, Sandbox / Celine is our writer now. And we've been doing a lot of chat. So I'm excited about the game and then what the demo's going to look like. Let's see. Void saying hi Covino. Buggy saying hi Covino. Buggy says, my favorite streams back to back. Lucky me. Oh, how nice. It's perfect timing. Buggy says, content creation in a hot tub. I think you'll be misunderstood for a different website. Yeah, no, I figured that might be the case. That's why I like over explained it. But I haven't been rejected. And then the person hasn't answered back. So I'm going to say it was an automatic email and they have no interest in answering my question. So we'll see. I'm just going to assume that for now. All right, what do we have so far? Let's get to the game development. I'm going to get rid of the background music now. Because I think now we're in the realm of actually paying attention to our audio. And I muted our music. So we'll probably want to get the music going now, along with purposeful stopping of the music as well. This is a beginning screen. Some mystery is like, what was that? What was that? And I wanted to start with some sort of like story that kind of does semi-tutorial thing. I'm not exactly sure if I want to start with the crew selection like this though, if that's the case, you know. Probably solo is a good idea. I feel like there should be at least one person in the ship. Okay. So maybe like some sort of like start at this point without any crewmate? No, we need the crewmate. I think I'm going to start with the crewmate here. Let's see. Buggy says, by the way, what's the beer glass in the corner about? Oh, it's a tip. I think it fills up anytime does anything that costs money, like either bits, donation, or sub. So I think I didn't clear the cup. So this time it's got 2 subs from last time, I think last few days that I was streaming. It does get filled up, apparently. I just thought it was funny. Or I just thought it was fun to see it progress. All right, let me think. Buggy says, that's cute. Oh, thanks. Hey, trying to be streamer here. In some ways. All right. What else? What else? Oh, okay, yeah. So we took a lot of time to draw this completely. Cool, cool. It does a little cutscene. And then the game starts, fade in. Now, when it fades in, I have to think about this. Because I think this is not much of a spoiler. So we showed that really weird interest, but then in a similar way to Outer Wilds and Animal Well, I want players to be immediately like, just kind of go around and explore things and stuff. So, I mean, crew is interesting, but there being only 2 options is not that interesting. So I wonder if everything should be available from the get-go. But that doesn't really make sense. I think there should be a generic crew and then the named crew. Because I was thinking about I was talking with my writer now. I'm going to refer to Selena as our writer. About if the people that you hire are like special, like they have their own story, or if they're generic people. I'm thinking there's going to be, there's a mechanic where if you save them during the voyage, you get to add them into your ship. But I'm thinking it's not permanent. It's basically you keep them until you get to the next destination. And another one is that I'm going to change the space map. Yeah, okay, I should probably do that. Where if it is charted path, you know exactly how long it takes. But if it is an uncharted path, like there's no path towards some places, then it's like unknown, like as you're trying to figure out the navigation, and that's where you play the mini game of like, are you progressing on that day successfully, or are you failing to progress towards your goal, you know? So I'm going to do some of those things. I think that could be fun. I mean, that was the original game anyways. Hi, Brain Zap. Where Void is like strawberry. Void says, I'm doing art today, so can't chat much. PS, rendering metallic surface is weird. Yeah, it is weird. Metallic surface works best if you're like... I always say metallic surface is best described if you're doing high contrast. The light to dark fringe transition happens very abruptly because for the most part you're actually reflecting what's around it, so it doesn't really care about the shading. It cares more about being true to the surrounding. So a lot of like light to dark transition. Our little gold bug icon, we have our little emote, right? Where's our general channel? This thing? I mean, I don't know if it's doing a good job, but it's technically metallic, right? You see how it goes from bright to dark really quickly, and then it does the bright fringe outside? Yeah. I don't know. Kind of works. Maybe not. Yeah. Anyways. All right. So I made it so that I can draw these map automatically, but I think... you know what? I probably should start it from... Let me envision this by playing through. Okay, there you go. And then it fades into the ship. Crew. Yeah, I don't know if I should be able to start with a crewmate or not. Maybe you start with one. I mean, maybe two is too... Two is too... forgiving. Okay, I'm going to unlock one more, i.e. citizen. And then I'm going to make it select one crewmate. So it's not that confusing. All right. So we're going to go here, canvas layer. I believe it is select crew page. And here, I think beginning crew limit will be 1 instead. And then we'll make it so that I think I made it limitable in here. If I go to the resource, crew data, then I'll say I'll open up citizen. Or pilot, actually. Citizen doesn't make sense to be available. So I'll take the pilot here and say pilot can start. There you go. That should work, I think. If I programmed everything appropriately, it should work. Right? I also need to update this to be not Enron, but something else, probably. Yeah, pilots available, 1 of 1, crew. It takes a special type of focus to distinguish between comm signal and the background radiation of the space. Okay, good to know. Cook is a robot. Take pilot here. And then embark. You get to choose 1 equipment. Currently meaningless. Doesn't do anything, but it's okay. Like, oh, equipment, nice. I'll do a med bay as a starting equipment. I feel like it should fit here. It doesn't. That's a bug. It should fit, I think. Well, Maybe the boundary of the door needs to be one less. Anyways, so I do that. Or I could get rid of that. Do a little power supply here. Perfect. I love that. Commit. Instead of choosing the navigation, I think I'm going to make it so that it goes directly to the town. And then have the space map navigation be one of the button options instead now. So come over here, main. We're going to go into, let's see, state manager. And we're going from starting equipment, instead of destination selection, which we do this here. We'll go immediately to start player turn. This might not work because some of the things we have. Okay, let's see what that looks like. You know, sometimes I'm surprised that things just work, even though, you know, I shouldn't be that surprised. Like, that's what I wanted it to be. Okay. All right, I'll choose a pilot. Put a com in here. Commit. Okay, that's not bad. Only thing is these two buttons showed up before the animation was done. Probably should get rid of the shop button on start player turn. Start day. Start player turn. Start day button is here. Show shop button. We're just gonna not show any shop option because now the shop's gonna be part of the interaction of the map itself. Thanks for the follow. So cool. So cool. And then the start day button does come through, but it seems like there's some animation that I play. Specifically, I don't know where that animation play is coming from, actually. It might be over here. What is it? Animation. I wonder if I made a variable for that. Animation. No, it's happening somewhere else. Starting equipment. Interesting. So I'm playing the animation here. The arrival animation. Ship start. Arrival. And then I'm doing this to be true, but seems like it wasn't working like that, right? Because it already transitioned. Let me see here. Go here. And then we're moving on to the start player turn. See if the enter gets played. Some of these transitions are very sensitive, so we just kind of need to do it multiple times. There's no other way to do it. Okay, it's entering. Oh, weird. Okay. It's playing the exit after the entering. That's a bug. That's unintended. It's supposed to do the exit first and then do enter. But it seems like it doesn't wait on it. Oh. You know what? What it might be doing is, so it is triggering the exit of the state first over here. But when it hits await, because this function itself is async, like it's not waiting for the exit to finish. Yeah. I think state node actually needs a signal that indicates exit complete, which I can't make it autoplay on exit.
This is big brain time.
Whoa. What was that? What? What was that? Oh, I see. Wow. All right. It's the first time I've ever seen this. That scared me. Oh, hey, thanks. Thanks for using the bits. Look at that, 50 bits. I'm 50% of the way to completing my goal already. Wow. That scared me so much. I was like, what was that? Yes, it is big brain time. All right. Jeez, that's funny. I'm annoyed that the cup doesn't fill from that, though. Why is the cup not filled? Huh, weird. Look at all these salt. There's one way to do it. Well, thanks for testing. I was wondering if it works or not. Okay. Exit complete. Yeah. But this means I need to trigger this every single time. Right? Doesn't seem right to me. Oh, hey, look at that cheer. There. Thanks. Oh no, I did it wrong. Oh, Mikory cheered with 10 bits. Thanks for the 10 bits. I don't know if people often say it. Yeah, I think the cup filled. Is that right? Am I crazy? Oh, Mikory, so nice. Thanks. Okay, cool. At least we know that it's working. Oh man, I wish there was a way to just await on the non-async calls anyways, so that the functions actually execute in order. All right, let me just verify that that is what's happening here first. So we got old state action. We have it here. We have one checkpoint on the exit of the starting equipment, right? Before await and after await, and see what happens here. Nice. Salty beer. We love that. Definitely needs sound effects here. It's normal. Okay, here. Whole state action. It comes here, plays that first, and then it plays the enter. So I was right. When I hit await, instead of it waiting on it, it actually moves on. All right, let me think about the strategy here. I want to make it so that after I call exit, it doesn't progress until the exit is completely done. But I also don't want to create a new step of requirement for the state so that I have to emit the signal every single time. Because then if you forget to do it, you're just kind of, it's no good. What if the state manager? Is that really the only way? That seems really annoying. Okay, so let me think about this. Trigger exit. Switch the value. Do not consider it switched until the signal is received. Oh man, this is going to be a little messy. But I think this might have to be. So we're going to say current state is this. We're going to have is state transition. And this is important because if it's in transit, we don't want to execute the next one. And this will be false. So messy. The reason I'm not doing await here is just in case this executes faster than the await can be read. Like it'll execute everything unless there's an async component in there. Oh, I know what. Okay. I have a answer. Where is async? I mean, there's a long way to do basically what like probably some other scripting languages figure out how to handle this is like a callback type of thing. By default, it'll return null, right? But if it is async, we want to await the state action exit complete. Otherwise, keep moving on. So if it doesn't return, so I don't have to retroactively turn anything. I just need to say in here. But that won't work. It won't return until it gets to the end. No. I feel like that means I really need to do a callback function. So instead here, oh man, it's gonna be voice says hi, McCory. McCory saying hi. We got everybody saying greetings here. Oh, it seems like there's no easy way to do this. I do want to do await animation things. And I want scripts to not run until those things are finished. I wonder if there's a way to do a call. Let me see. And if there's like a... There has to be some sort of things. By the way, I don't know, to be honest, thanks for the follow. That's often what I say all the time, so. Calls method represents a callable, yeah. I'm trying to see if there's any ways to do callable in ways where I can actually wait for everything that's happening within it. Call with an argument. Call deferred is calls method represented by callable in a deferred mode at the end of the current frame. Arguments can be passed. No. Binding. Oh man, it seems like there's no other way to do it except the signal. I actually need to do that. Because what happens here? is complete. Not return. I do want to see what happens here, actually. What if it moves on without the return? Will this make it so that it waits on the execution? I want to see what that does. That might, because right now, because it's not expecting any return, it's moving on. But if it does expect a return, then it shouldn't move on, right? Right? I think that's a good test to run, actually. Let me see what that does. Because like I don't know how else that could work. Where voice says Ezra arc query. Okay. The rendering style I started with on the project seems different since it's been a while. And I looked up some tutorials. Now when I'm rendering it seems off compared to the first time. Oh, you're having style inconsistencies. Is that what you're referring to? All right. What's the question then? How do you make it consistent? Do you want me to look at what the difference is and tell you why they feel different, or you know why it's different, you just don't know what to do about it? What is the question? I'll gladly intake your query. Okay, this is where I was doing starting equipment. I still have that. Comes over here. It does the await thing. Comes here even though the return hasn't happened yet. Oh, okay. I'm confused. Wait, how did that work? Did it actually print? That's crazy. Hold on. That is crazy. Voice says, yep, but I asked a bunch of questions. You're going to have to repeat the question that I said that you're saying yep to. But I'll take a look if you post it on general or whatever, showcase or feedback, and ask questions there. Can't be too difficult to take a look. Okay, this is the moment of truth. So it's executing the old actions exit. It comes here and it's like, oh, play, but then it's going to await. So it's going to get stuck right here. It's going to wait. And it decided that I'm going to run out of this. I can't even do... Oh, trying to call an async function without await. Is this considered async function now? It's considered async function. Okay, hold on. Hold up. What happens if I call it with await, but it doesn't have any await in it? I didn't know I could just await chain like that. Interesting. Don't call me late for dinner says yep. Catboy King says yep. We're just saying yep. All right. Oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, if that's the case, then it kind of solves a problem. It seems like it doesn't complain about me awaiting on some things. Okay. Okay. Right order. Everything seems to be smooth sailing here. Perfect. Okay, I don't have to worry about anything. We got the comms here. Why won't you let me click? I feel like this should be clickable too. Crew. Info panel. Portrait. Does it have anything in there? Oh, it does actually. Whoopsies. There you go. Better. Okay. All right. Good to see. Good to see. All right. The chat says, "Hey, Celine. I'm just popping in because I can't sleep. We love chronic illness. Aw. I hope you can have peaceful and non-anxious nights where you can just fall asleep within 2 seconds of your desire. That's my wishes." But yeah, did you see the opening, Celine? Just in case that it helps with understanding the vibe. So I'm doing this and I'm going to immediately have some sort of like opening scene, quest, dialogue type of thing. There you go. Okay. And then we'll have some stuff here. Celine says, "I'll say I'm cooking up a story. Basically not word for word dialogue, but like general gist." Ooh, hell yeah. This looks awesome. Thanks. Great. I mean, that's exactly what I wanted. I mean, I also kind of summarized what I want. But here we go. Let's take a look at Void's art and see why it's not consistent, shall we? Oh, it looks good. This. And then this. Okay, I mean, it just looks like really, really rendered. I mean, do you like the style of this better or this better? What's your question here? They look good. Oh, is it because this coming out makes it very different? I mean, this doesn't seem... Oh, because this is like really, really rendered. Like this is too rendered. I see. I see your concern here. Like you mean like the hand and the injector looks way more rendered than this thing. Like, but you know, in the rule of contrast says this means that this is what we're going to pay attention to. I mean, if you're really curious about why this is an issue, I might... This might hurt, but I might opt for... Let's see. I might opt for... like chunking up more. Right? You have these color right here that's like gray and it's transitioning smoothly. Just commit to more of a singular block color for each of the sections to match up the face area here like that. If that's what you wish. Otherwise, you're going to have to render this out a lot more to match this. Like, for example, the eyes are really big point and the eyes don't have any shading at all. And that's probably what makes it like this. Unless you're planning on rendering the entire thing, then I guess you don't have a problem. Because at this point, you have to match this type of rendering to the face. Otherwise, it's going to look weird, I guess. Like, even the liquid is acceptable. Liquid is acceptable. It's the metal that's the problem. It almost looks like you got a photo on top of picture. Yeah. Voice says the first, but when I start, I can't stop. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it looks good. I'm not going to like say that it doesn't look good. It looks good. It's just, it's really rendered out. And everything's got details. This is a detail. You see the stitching, very realistic details. Tiny, tiny, tiny details here. Tiny details here. Even the reflection detail. But then the background picture, the smallest detail this has is the hair, and it's still bigger than the stitching. So even the detail scale doesn't match. So like, if this was more like bigger chunk of detail, it might feel better too, you know? Yeah, that's a tough one. I get it. But definitely the gloves and then the metal became too photorealistic. You need ways to simplify it. Good luck. I mean, I can say that because it's not my problem, I guess. But you got quite a work ahead of you, I think. Yeah. Bye, Celine. Celine's back, I guess. Hold on. Anyway, see ya. I don't know what see ya means. Guessing Celine just dropped by and then leaving at the same time. Buggy says, nice advice. Thank you. I know a thing or two about criticizing things. Mikori says, enough criticizing. Go do deep squats. Time for squats. I'm still really tired. Come on, everyone. We got our hot tub streams in a month or so, so we got to get our exercise going. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Whew. I can hear my knees click. That's not a good sign. Okay. Now that that's out of the way, I need to get some water. I'll be back. Voice says, my legs. Make sure you have a wide enough stance to not mess up with your hip joints, I think. It can get tricky. You got to make sure your knees don't get injured. Okay, well, anyways, so this part is working. People can do that. I'm just going to add some stuff here. Let's see. We got the base POI. I believe we're calling this the frontier here. Observation deck here. And we'll probably make it so that if it gets clicked, something happens. I mean, obviously it's already having all the signal stuff. Hovered. It's already detecting as pressed. Excuse me. And I should probably have a signal here called pressed. And then that should probably get triggered. Well, the animation, should it trigger after the animation or before animation? Probably right after animation, I think. Yes. Plays that animation. And turns to false. I guess this is like when the animation is done. Let's see how that works. Jack Spilled says, hi, brother. Hello, brother. Well, hello. Welcome back, Jax. Okay. So on Frontier, we're going to make it so that when these things are clicked, certain things will happen. I think I might have to start making on the game state variable section about narrative variables. Is first time in Frontier or something like that. Though I feel like these things should be handled by each location. No, it shouldn't. It needs to be global because some other portions may, like any part of the game might require these things. So, all right, so we got this right here. It should probably, I really should make the state. You know what? Actually, I could do this outside. Signal. Yeah. Signal. Interaction. Triggered. And then interaction title. I don't know if it should be like that or not, actually. I'm thinking. No. It should actually be straight up dialogue. Because I'm going to control all the interaction via the dialogue. Yeah. We're going to have an interaction type. Hold on. Each of the plays should be able to control all of interaction. So depending on what it is, the base POI will have dialogue started. And we're going to have dialogue name. And then if there's something else that needs to happen, then we're going to create the signal for it. On the main, POI display. Right now it has Frontier, but it's going to have something else depending on where it is. Jack says, can I see your game? Not much has changed since last time. I don't know if you were here last time, but I can show you. It looks like this currently, if nothing broke. We're working on some of these things. This is where it breaks. Because the destination hasn't been selected. Okay. So we're going to change the start day button, actually. Might have to have a repeat. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the beginning of the game, what it looks like. I think initially I might have the start day button not show up. So we have this thing right here, which is true, but I'm going to do a new thing. Where I probably will have the state variable. As I think it's a narrative first is just actually maybe that's not even necessary. So the canvas, the start day button, I think should have different text. So right now this handles what happens when you start. Um, we're gonna make it so that there is no destination initially. So that is, where's the destination selection? Destination selection state. State manager. Start menu. Start day here. When it goes to the next, day upkeep is fine. Oh. And then start player turn. This is the location. Get rid of the shop button. Okay. We're going to the resolve task. All right. There's two different places where we're starting the player's turn. We're starting the player turn in POI versus in a location or in mid-travel. So I need to figure that out. Tobias on the chat says, I'm just starting off in my game dev journey. Very hyped about Godot. Do you have any general organization structure tips? Gonna make small game, but don't want to go to spaghetti. Haha. Well, I mean, sometimes if spaghetti is a way for you to stay motivated, spaghetti away. After many projects I've started, I actually find more spread out organization useful. You probably notice how much, like, I have so much directories here. And like coming from like different spaces, especially if you're a web dev or something like that, you may be tempted to make directory based on their tasks or their model, right? For example, you have the UI components, and then UI component has different things, and then you have sprites, and then the sprites have different categories. But oftentimes I find it that in the game development, a lot of the functions require all three pieces: control, graphics, the UI components, and to put them in three separate directories where you have to do basically, for example, for me, my game has a ship. So let's say sprite ship, or I go to controller ship, or resource ship. Like you keep repeating these steps where things are all over the place. Rather, you want to work on the thing that are in the same folder as much as possible so that you don't have to jump around different directories while working on a single component. So the habit I've created recently, that's I think is easier for me to organize, is to have a little bit more exploded components where each directory it's like a scene, and that scene directory will have the script, the scene, the sprite, and if it has some like building blocks that you need to do it, that make a resource for it too. I like to put the data, the resources in its own folder because it's easier to navigate. Instead of these things being like part of this, I can just kind of pull it from the data. So that's kind of the general rule of thumb that I follow for myself. Doesn't mean you should, but yeah. Tobias says, yeah, I do web dev. That is absolutely how I like to structure my servers. This is great. Haha. Yeah, this is good. Yeah. Because, I mean, when you're first learning about, like, especially if you're doing web dev, like when you learned about like MVPs and certain things, you feel like that's the kind of like, oh, this is the service. We're going to put all these things in a service folder. Within the service folder, we're going to have this service, that service, this service. Oh, we're going to put it in an API folder, all the colors for the API. Or like we're going to put into the data transfer objects, right? The DTOs into a DTO folder. Later you realize, oh shoot, this is really hard to work with. So yeah. Yeah, folder for feature, I think kind of is much better than folder for types. Folder for types works. I think folder for types came from like how, in Java, how you import things based on the folder. Well, it's not really based on the folder, but then you can use folder as kind of the structure for the package. But I don't know. I'm sure it has its benefit, organizational benefit. Because let's say you're trying to, if you're working with like Java or like object-oriented programming that are in the server where you're trying to pull things from somewhere, and you're like just going off of the name of things and you're just looking for the autocomplete of the folders. And you're like, I just need the what do you call, the input type of the service. You'd be, inclined to go to the input API folder first of this project before calling the service. I don't know if there's a right way to do it technically, but I like the feature-based organization better, as I've mentioned for above reasons. Tobias says, yeah, people love the folder type instead. MVC loves it. Yeah, I noticed that. McCory says, what about folder for feature? Then inside the feature folder, you have folder for types. That could be helpful. I don't want to go too crazy on it just because I don't want to create too much hierarchy sometimes. But I'm sure it helps. Tobias says, this was immensely helpful, though. I appreciate it. Gonna toss my prime here when it comes back. Oh, I appreciate it. That's nice. I love the support. Allows me to keep going. Is that grammatically correct? To keep. Keep is helping verb. So I think to can, anyways. Weird. Something about it felt weird. Anyways. McCoy says, you missed one of my previous messages. It seems like I miss McCoy's message all the time. Says, I'm looking at COBOL code images on Google. Is COBOL meant to be hard? Seems straightforward. COBOL? Why does that sound COBOL or Cobalt? COBOL code. What is that? Isn't it old stuff? Common business-oriented language is high-level English-like programming language developed in 1950s and early 1960s primarily for business data processing. Oh. I mean, it seems like it was meant to be easy. Easy as in approachable. Did it actually fulfill that or not? I don't know. But it does seem like it's an old language. And this was their attempt at making programming language more English-like, seems. I can see why that might be difficult. Because the keywords are so like not structured, maybe. But I don't know. I've never used this, so I actually don't know how difficult it is. I think people complain about it because it's like unfamiliar, maybe. If you inherit that code base, you might not have a good time. McCory says, yeah, also since bank system run on it, who else to get money from than a bank? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I mean, I hope I never have to learn it because I don't want to be in a job space where I need to program for banks or managing data. I gotta say, data analysis is fun and all, but I would hate for it to be my full-time job where I'm just like querying and pulling and filtering. I mean, it's fun. I remember having to help a lot of my PM friends with the query to like make the query run faster. And, the whole like hashing and indexing is like a huge part of understanding how to make the joins faster, right? Reducing the data as fast as possible on elements or the columns that are easily accessible, like O of 1, as opposed to O of n. I mean, that was usually the difference, but I would get tired of it. Definitely not game programming. All right, where was I? I was doing that thing. I was saying I'm going to get rid of the start date button, no. The start day button should instead say, depart. Yeah. So when we arrive, when we're in a location, I think, which I don't know how I'm determining that here. When we arrived, go to destination selection, but instead of destination selection, what we're saying is we're going to go to start player turn. And then shop is loaded. Yes. Arrival happens. Destination POI. And it's current POI. And current POI doesn't get updated. How do I know we're traveling again? I don't remember. Location action. That is something. Travel, blah, blah, blah. Start day. Except when we're traveling, somebody's saying arrived. I need to figure this out. Travel. Oh, arrived here. Okay. Distance to destination. And that's where we decide we've arrived. And then when we arrive, we're emptying the destination POI. There it is. Okay, so we're making a current POI. And then naturally the destination POI should be nulled, meaning nothing exists. So it's empty. In the beginning, destination POI would definitely be null. So during the start day, I think what I can do, I'll make it so that this button, which is called start day, which says start day here, we'll have a copy of the start day. Which will be depart button. Depart. Unless there's a better word for it. Which is this right here. And disconnect. But the location of this should be the same as start day, I think. Not the shop button, the start day here. Great. The depart button, we'll put it on main, as always. Then we'll put it right next to the start button. Start day. Start day pressed. We'll put it depart here. Same audio. You won't do that. Probably say state manager or state equals manager states destination selection. Change to destination selection. It's going to be a little bit confusing here, but I think we can still do it. And destination selection will handle everything. The state is already transitioned. And when the destination selection is done, instead of going to start player turn, it should do the equivalent of starting a day. So we're here, on to the next one. Current POI becomes null. Play change indicator, I don't know what that is. Crew info resolve task to select all. I suppose this might actually have to happen on commit. Hold on. So on the space map, depart is a good word for it. Okay, good. I don't know if there is a simpler, easier to understand word that doesn't seem so pretentious. You know what I mean? I already used word embark, and I guess it could be embark, but I also am using different words all over the place, which I guess is not really a good way to do this. Okay, so if the destination is selected, we do all this. I think what I want to do here, current POI gets nulled. Play change indicator, I don't know what that is, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to assume that this will make it work and do its magic because I just copied it. Instead of going to the start player turn, it's going to go where start day was going. Right? The start day goes to day upkeep. So it's going to go to day upkeep. Let's see. So the difference now is that it needs to go to oh. Hold on, I also need to hide that button. Depart is hidden. We're going to make it so that depart button becomes visible. Like that. Make this visible on equal. You know what? Maybe this is okay. Button. Show start day button. We're going to say var depart. Show depart button, which will be false. And that should show up after crew is selected, equipment is selected, destination info, crew info, equipment window, show item bar, and on the start day, we're showing let's start player turn here. Yeah, so if I say if state manager current POI is fulfilled, meaning it's something, right? Then we've arrived at the location. We're going to show the depart button. Otherwise, we're going to show this. All right. Hopefully that works. Now, let's go through the entire sequence all over again. Kidowen says, hello, very new to game dev, but wanted to drop in and say hi. I'm working through your roguelike tutorial now, and it's very helpful. Oh, that's great. Thanks. Thanks for watching, and thanks for following along. I really hope it is helpful until the end. I know it can be confusing, but I'm glad you're finding joy in it. All right, so we're currently at Frontier. Depart. Confirm. It didn't do the thing. Okay, hold on. It almost worked, but it didn't. And you see what the difference is here. Start day button. Tobias is asking, oh, you got YouTube tutorials? I'll have to check them out. Oh yeah, check them out. I don't know how helpful it'll be for you. I mean, I know I've heard basically the roguelike deck builder tutorial is very popular with basically people with programming experience and is new to Godot. I don't know if that was my intentional target. My intention was to just kind of show everything, like my thought process, including like the errors and stuff. And apparently that's been helpful. So yeah, check it out, Tobias. Maybe it'll be helpful for you. It's pretty long-winded, so. Tobias is also saying, do you do all the art? This game is gorgeous. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I don't do all the art. This particular game and specifically, we're working with a person, my friend, actually, IRL friend, who's also kind of known in the pixel art industry, or not industry, but pixel art community, called Revi. So he's done a lot of the work. I do fill in the gaps. For example, that intro drawing, this thing, I drew this myself, and some of the equipments and stuff like that. But it's like placeholders for me. So for this game, I do a lot of placeholder arts that I intend to change completely. I also did the what do you call the space station placeholder. But aside from that, when I'm working on the game, I like to use my own art just because I have a very strong preferences. But yeah, luckily we have someone that we're working with that likes to work with me. So that's been nice. Tobias says, everything is just ridiculously stylish. I love it. Thanks. We make it a point to limit the palette very strictly to make sure that it has that style. And I made it a point. I was like, yes, retrofuturism, think Treasure Planet design, but like pixel art. So yeah, it's been good. I enjoy it. I enjoy what has been generated so far. Okay, just a sec. So on this, when the start day on the main start day was pressed, I had to null out the current POI and it went to the next. And for start day or start player turn, next was resolve task. And from resolve task, it needs to go to the travel, but it didn't go to the travel. And that's what's confusing for me. So let me see if it enters this at all. I could also see my debug, actually. Debug window. I can turn this on. So at least I know that the states are on. Oh, I guess when that's on, things just hide. Okay, I'm gonna turn this on now. That doesn't do anything. then I just want to check that it comes to this state. Start player turn, right? Comes, I think it goes here. Transition. Okay, so we're in, what is this one? Start player turn. We're showing the depart button. Click it, the map shows up. We confirm it exits. And it's back at start player turn. Oh. Hold on. What happens at day upkeep? Oh, I see, I see. It needs to actually go to resolve task. Resolve task. Yeah, that's where it went wrong. Okay, that should work now. But yeah, it's good to hear that aesthetically, at least, it feels stylistic, because I think that's really important to kind of the success of the game. Because I want that to like really capture some audience to be like, hey, just from the looks of it, this is the kind of game that I would love to see what it's about. So that's good. There you go. Okay, we're in the right spot, I think. There you go. Cool. I just need to make sure that depart button goes away. Let's see. Main. On depart button pressed. I guess I'll also hide that. Yeah. I guess I could hide it on exit of the state. So we have start player turn here. We'll just hide this. Cool. False. Yep. Nice. Tobias says, it's definitely eye-catching, and I love that. That means we're doing our job right. What about the music, though? I also got an artist to write this for us for the vibe, you know. I really like it. And then the sound effect as well. Okay. Right, cool. So that's kind of working. We got the ship going. Depart. Map shows up. And then the travel starts. Okay. Interactions work. And this one doesn't have anything. I didn't really implement anything there. So that's breaking on purpose. Cool. Map selection works. After destination, okay, I changed that order. Now, I want to be able to click on some of the spaces here. Hi, Don. Long time no see. It's been a while. Hey, Revi. Welcome, welcome. Speaking of the devil, Revi is here. Tobias was saying that the style looks very stylistic and is gorgeous, and was asking if I did the art. And I was saying we have an artist. The typical thing that I go through. Oh, now that you're here, Revi, look, we can change the opening a little bit. Yeah. Vibe? Yes. I have a plan with that splash art. It's a placeholder. You can always update it as you want it to be, but that's the vibe. Kind of like how in Animal Well, when you first start the game, you see those like flames. Essentially, that's the same idea. Change some of the orders. We need to update these things. And then this is what's happening here. There are definitely a few things still I need to fix here. First thing I wanted to do is have Oh, you know what? We need quest markers. We need like interest. Like there's some new interaction pending. Or not. I guess that's like too hand-holdy, right? If I'm like put exclamation point in each location, people will be like, you don't have to tell me that. Maybe they don't. Or if he says, ooh, I like the vibe a lot. Yeah, exactly. I think it's getting closer. All right. I think it's time. Instead of cutscene, we have POI here, POI interaction buttons. I think we probably should create a POI dialogues. And we'll create some dialogues here. This one, we might have to separate it by the regions so it's not too confusing, actually. So we're going to do Frontier. And on Frontier, we're going to create POI Frontier. Let's call it the observation deck. You know what? I'm going to have just a single file for now and hope that it does something else. When you click it, I'm going to have something like, let's see, this one is going to be, or something like that, right? Is that how you, it's been a while. There are commands. Signal transmission. This would be considered, I'm going to say this is considered transmission. I should probably rename this, honestly. I'm just going to call it transmission for now. Uh-huh. Revi says, love the yippee guy behind you. Yeah. Celine spent some channel points to put that GIF. I got the new pixel art frame, 64 by 64, actually. And people have been posting on it. So, by the way, that's an option if you want to put your art in there. You don't actually have to use the points, but if you do, you do. Yeah, it is the Divoom. I think it was called something 64. I don't know. Something 64. It's nice. I like it. I like how it looks. Where he says, I've been in Portland for the past half week, so I've been busy. Oh, wow. So you have been traveling. Where he says, that's sick. I have two, but I don't think mine are 64. Oh, I just wanted to have one, and 64 was, I was like, if I'm going to have one, might as well be the big one. So, yeah. Okay. I feel self-conscious about the writing the story part, but I think we can do this. Let's see. We're going to say yes. I'm not going to do anything crazy here. The Frontier is stationed I don't know. It's gonna say some bunch of stuff, I guess. Near the I wouldn't want this. Oh, I don't want to write story in front of everyone. It feels kind of weird. Ravi says, both were gifted to me because I do pixel art. Haha. I mean, that makes sense. I want to be gifted pixel art frames. That sounds appropriate. Let's see. I do want some interaction, but I also don't want it to be weird. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to say the first time, we should probably have these things actually. I think it still checks for the data, right? How do I do state manager, dialog state? Okay, cool. So it does keep up with some dialog state separately. So we're going to say if first time, what should I call it? First time not first time, if been to observation deck, frontier observation deck, and do this, go to destination selection, I guess. And I'll call it destination selection. Not trying to be too fancy here. We're going to say signal set true, something like that. I think I do have that. Flag. That's right. Yeah, we'll call flag here. It'll be flag. And then we'll go to a node that says observation deck intro. Observation deck intro. It's going to say something like from here. Okay, hold on. From here, you can see directly into the beautifully burning star over Arctic's 0N. Hey, Catboy. Welcome, welcome. I guess I guess I could just do this. And some little lore, some little description. To tinted window of. Let's take a look. How much do we need to reduce the light of the sun to look at directly, safely? All right. I like that. I'm going to use that as a general fact. Even though RTX is an old star, observation window reducing it by %. Staring? That sounds weird, but it's okay. This is where most of frontier business is handled. There you go. And then it'll be like, and I'll go over here and say, where do you, what do you want to do? And then we'll have an option of go to the task. No. Ow. Ooh, I just bumped my foot onto the chair. Ooh. The heel of my foot just got rammed into the chair. It hurts. All right. So the idea here is that you are someone who transfers things, I suppose, aka the Frontier, the original, very old game, right? I think there was a game called Frontier, the game. Old school space game. I thought there was a old school space game called The Frontier. Am I crazy? Yeah. Yeah. I think. Anyways, Buggy says, ouch. And then Mikori goes, deepest squats now. Just as soon as I just bumped my feet into the chair, as I suffered the consequence of my foot injury. Oh, I'm so sore. All right, everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh my goodness. Doesn't get any easier. Forget the pain with another type of pain. Now that's the way of developing, I think. Mikori says, only way to get stronger is to work through it. The best time. Okay. So my idea here is that the observation deck probably should have the office. I don't want to call it the quest office. What would you call it? What would a place where you pick up contract delivery work from? What would you call that? For now, I'm going to say quest office. Where do you want to go? Quest office. And then we can have quest broker. Yeah. I like that too. That seems a little bit more rustic. Kiddo coming in clutch. And then I believe we can have a place for crew hiring. But then it's going to be like short term. So any type of hiring of the crew basically lasts for a single trip, I think. Crew rental sounds weird. Quest broker. Mercenary office, I guess. Order. Where do you want to go? Or I can say freelance forum to pick up, I guess, freelancers, if you can call it that. I like the forum, some sort of like open forum where people are just kind of chilling, waiting to be hired. I guess we could say shouldn't be called freelance, I think. It's too close to the word quest, I think. Crew rental. I think we're going hard on the vibe of like people are property in this corporate as country future, you know, the kind of capitalistic message. And then what else? I think bathroom. Got the window. And a little bit of a theme, little vibe stuff, right? Look out the window for any kind of like role play, little RPG elements. Maybe you can meet people. Maybe you notice some what do you call it? Suspicious activity. That could be fun. And then Quest Broker probably has a bunch of stuff. Quest, which I will write eventually. Suppose this should just be considered dialogue finished. Log finished. Resume travel. Add to transmission. I think we can do that. It just closes the transmission. It closes the window. Crew. Something like that. And I'm going to hook it up. I'm going to try to yeah, look outside. The eyes burden. Your cornea is scorched. I'm going to try to make it so that this dialogue manager works outside of the context of traveling. Because right now I have it so that it is strictly for traveling. But I think this should be okay. All right. This might be a little bit of work here. I think this would be a good amount of work to do today. All right, so I wrote the dialogue. It's been saved. I want to start this out. I made it so that when the dialogue transmission is closed, it simply makes the transmission window turned off. That's okay. On the main, not the main, on the POI display, we have the frontier. And we have the dialogue started stuff. So we're going to make it so that when the observation deck is pressed from the thing, it's going to go instead of dialogue name. I feel like I should pass the JSON itself. That might be easier. Const frontier observation deck dialogue. And that would be the JSON, right? Right, so we have the JSON file. That is the dialogue. And dialogue is passed out. Emit. Cool. And when this gets emitted on the main, POI display we're probably going to have something here, attach script, POI display node, which I'll put it under POI here. Last name, POI display. Signal log started dialogue JSON. I'm gonna make it so that for now, I'm gonna manually connect this, which will programmatically connect later. And this one will hard connect to the dialogue. Start. I think the dialogue can start. Easy dialogue somewhere here. Easy dialogue. Where'd it go? Here it is. Reader. Reader start dialogue will be start. Yep. So I can just go when this dialogue gets started. Instead of doing the emit here, let me just say I do the start thing. Dialog manager start. And then do the file. See what happens. See what happens. See if that works. Okay. Let's see what we get. All right. Kind of. It didn't display the choices. It was the first time, so went to the observation deck intro. The page breaker means no choice was present. In that case, I need to make it so that the next option is available automatically. On handle transmission output and response is emitted. And then the transmission output dialog window. I think it's this guy. I made it so that this and then choice gets added only if there are choices. I'm going to make it so that if there are no choices and yeah, if there are no choices, we're probably going to have to add just one choice. Pen choice that says next or continue. And then that's going to progress it anyways. Should work if everything is working properly as I designed it. No opening skip still, but it's okay. We'll work with this. Dum, dum. Uh-huh. From here, you can see directly into the beautifully burning star. Or, okay, well, doesn't matter. RTX on. Even though RTX is an old star without the observation window, reducing it by 90, you would go blind. This is where most of the frontier business is handled. Where do you want to go? Aha! Quest broker, crew rental, look out the window. And this is where it broke because it's the end of the scene. Could not. What was the value? Almost there, I feel like. End transmission. Interesting. Oh, it shouldn't be underscore, actually. I think it should be just that. End transmission. Except, I want the and to be afterwards. So it should be like this. Show, next, and transmission. Or I could be like, done, and then do end transmission. There you go. This should be better. Let's try that. Looking like a full game soon. We got some map interaction working pretty quickly. I'm glad that that's working as intended. I was a little bit nervous that it wasn't going to work. This seems like it is. All right. Let us go to observation deck. Only problem is that all these other buttons are clickable while doing these things. We need to make it so that all these other options are not something I can interact with while the dialogue is going on. Oh. Okay, that's fine. What if I started again? Aha, it worked. So the logic here was that if I've been to the observation deck already, go straight to the option. If I haven't, then do this exposition. So on the second time around, it didn't show the introduction, which is great. All right. For the most part, it's kind of working. That's a pretty good progress right there. I do want to make it so that some of the buttons are not available when the dialogue is running. So I think that might be a great idea here. And I want to make it so that dialogue transmission, yeah, dialogue finished is what I'm looking for, I think. Transmission close, and then we're going to say the interaction should be paused while the transmission is on. So on the main, a little rudimentary way of doing this, but I think it's kind of necessary. Let's see. We're going to have to pause interactions. That means I need ways to give a command called pause. So on the frontier as well, on the base POI, I think. Oh, this was bad. Anyways, it should be its own thing instead of it being like it needs its own script. On the base POI, we're going to have a function called pause and resume. Technically, the process pause will pause it, but that's for menu. I think we're going to say var is paused will be false. And of course, it's just going to flip it true to false. Nothing complicated here. Except for child in get children, if child has method, is that a thing? Returns true if the given method name exists in the object. Okay. So I guess I can do that. Pause. Then call pause, I suppose. Resume, then call resume. That's one way to check. I'm sure there's an easier way to do it, but and I'm going to make it so that the interaction buttons have a pause. And has resume, so it can be called. And the pause as well, we'll say is paused, which is normally false. But when it's paused here, it's going to be true. And then on resume, it's going to be false. And for this button specifically, when it's paused, we don't want it to do any of the hover actions, right? So I think we're just going to skipping all these things. Don't do any logic. Don't worry about focuses. Don't worry about mouse hovering. Don't worry about the GUI input at all. Don't even register it. Yep, there it is. Okay. So it's going to pause all the elements within the POI. What we're going to do here is the POI should pause. Get children. If child has method called pause, then we're going to call pause on them and then start dialogue. When the dialogue finishes, or when this transmission closes rather for this one. Actually, it should be the dialogue close finished. Closing in a window doesn't necessarily mean the dialogue is done. So we'll say set or resume travel. We'll call this dialogue finished. We're going to do the same thing, resume travel, because it's the same logic. It's just simply emitting dialogue finished. Let's say signal dialogue finished. Save that. So when the dialogue is finished, yeah, that signal is going to go to the main. It used to go to next, but that is only if the event Victor Josie Co says, "How was your day?" My day was good. I mean, I woke up kind of late. I was really tired, so I was really excited to get onto the game deving here as I am. Just trying to get some important part of the implementation get going. The goal hasn't changed. This game, I still want to have some sort of playable demo by Godot Con, which is in May. But I have a lot of other things going on in between. So, short of it is that we're in a hurry. We're in a hurry. I want to say that the next is probably traveling. The game state we're transitioning from is we're in start event state. And then the next one is travel. So I guess do this only if it's like start event here. So go to the next if current state is event states event. Otherwise, I guess in our case, we're going to just have the POI. It doesn't have the POI display, so we're just going to say POI display need to resume. Zoom. And that probably has a resume function here. Func resume will be basically get all the children to be resuming. As we do. Victor Josie on YouTube says, "You got this. We believe in you." Thank you. Thank you. It's always the race against the clock, right? Never smooth sailing, but always smooth sailing. Game's looking good though so far, so I'm pretty excited about it. I'm just going to test if the things get paused and unpaused as intended without any issue. And then I'm going to do some regress testing. That is, does the event execute? Because I made a change where when the event ends, some of that logic has changed too. So, okay. So none of these. Okay, no hover. Nice. But once I finish this, hover is back. Beautiful. Nice. Okay. And then that means I also want to make sure that the depart button is also kind of paused. So I think I'm going to make it so that Depart button. This is going to get a little bit messy here, but I'm going to just own up to the messiness because I don't want to deal with this a little bit. I kind of want to be lazy about it. That's what it comes down to, honestly. Fortunately. So, there you go. That should be good. That's everything that can be controlled. So we can resume and unresume. And then let me try and see if it exits the event and transition into traveling properly. Okay, we got this thing. Mystery box. What is that about? Cool. Commit. Nice. We'll give this person a job of cooking. And then we're going to depart. We'll go to the ironworks. Traveling to ironworks. And then hopefully event will happen. I don't see why it wouldn't. So this is a good time to test this bit, right? The event rate must be really low. It's okay. We'll monitor radio now. That's definitely a bug. And to make it so that that scene transition, the animation doesn't play unless you're at the destination. Ooh. Okay. Oh, we picked up 2 people. Okay. Nice. More distress call. I need to fix this. It seems like it's kind of working. Citizen's super distressed up. All right, you need to rest. You need to cook. And you can tend to... Actually, you need to cook. You need to rest. All right, give some meal to these people. Okay, all right. Working. Okay, everything is working now. This is great. Love it. Bug. Going from middle of the event to resuming travel is doing the... Oh no, it's working fine. Weird. Okay. Victor says, where is the third person? Third person? We got 2 comms here. Must be the bug. Oh, third person on the map? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I know why. Because it's 2 comms, so it's duplicated right here. It doesn't count it as a unique person. It's a bug. Good catch. Good catch. So I need to fix that too. Nice. Good eyes. All right. And then a new location. Same thing. Oh, yeah. Depart. I can go to new location. And once I go, the ship comes through. Nice. Okay. Working. That's, mostly working. It looks good. There are a few bugs here and there. Not as important as getting the main loop working. So I have some story elements that I can kind of fill up and play with. Now I can start giving quests. I think that might be the important one. I guess the question here is that should the quests be random? Or should it be? I mean, I know there are some story elements in the game where I'm like, okay, well, for the story element, there are certain quests that needs to be necessary for the story. But what about random delivery ones? If it's a delivery, it's just like, I think there should be quests for like charting a path. So I think I was talking about this earlier, where I want to definitely make it so that certain points on the map, a lot of it actually, should be uncharted. And uncharted is different game. Like charted is like, oh, you know what danger is there, you know how long it's going to take to get there. So you can actually use the navigator to get to places faster or whatever. But if it's uncharted, it's like you don't know how to get there and you're discovering what's in there, what's on the way. So that's a different game mode. So I think I'm going to try to do that here. I'm going to make it so a new line can be made programmatically. Right now, these lines are manually edited. But it's also added by creating the POIs, putting two POIs together. And I think it could be cool to have like new POIs get scanned at a location. You go to a location and you do a little scan and then the new POI pops up around the area. That can be in itself its own game. That could be fun, I think. Let's see. I can do a little test. I don't have to change the map quite yet. I can do one where it's like from here to here. Frontier, and then the away station is charted. And this is not charted. I'm going to say these are... Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that needs to be its own game mode that I need to think about how I'm going to do. But I think that could be pretty fun. What is a game over anyways? There's no ship health. And technically you don't need any of the crew as a captain. So what's a game over condition? I think that's the question. I think if you do lose all your crewmate, should you have your own stress gauge? Like in the game? I think that might have to be it. So I know you're managing this. So I know the game is supposed to be where you're managing crew members' stress and their health and they die. I think there's a global stress, which is just yours. Or like a mental health breakdown. And if you're alone, I think if you're alone, you immediately lose sanity and die or something like that. And it's game over. Everything RTX is... Even though RTX is an old star, without the observation window reducing it by 99.997%, reducing its strength, light by blind. Seconds. Okay. This is where most of the frontier business is handled. Where do you want to go? Quest broker, crew rental, look out the window, and we're saying that we're going to go to the quest broker, quest. Cool. And that's going to have a quest window. If you go to the coffee shop, probably some sort of food shopping. So there could be some quest transaction window we need to create. I think. Like the job and the money it gives and stuff like that. Not sure what's going to be on the ring yet. But yeah. Distance 75 meter. 4 parts. Okay. We're, I think, in a great spot in terms of development for the day. I don't know if Revy's still here. Our artist, Revy. If you're still here, I know you've been busy, but now you see what's going on. Feel free to add as you need. I think there could be a lot of cool things. Here, add, what did I do? POI, interaction, dialogue, based implementation. And then that's it, I think. Boom. Perfect. Okay. You know what? I think that's the day's work for now. That's where I will conclude today's session. But alas, it's time to raid. Hopefully there's somebody that we follow. Ah, hey, see, Noncode is still on, and Noncode's got the 118 viewers here. Not a game developer, but, you know, still a programming JavaScript development channel. We can go there. Otherwise, is there a suggestion? I feel like last time somebody suggested somebody. Let's see. Not just any program. Let me look for more Godot stuff here. See if there's anybody in Godot space. Nah, not really. I'll just go to non-codes. It's been a while, so might as well. All right, everyone. Thanks for following along. Have fun with your rest of your day. I'll be back tomorrow. I think. A little bit later, but I'll be back. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Bye. Bye, you.